We're here at the NCAA Finals Women's Basketball Press Conference for Tufts University. We're joined by head coach Carla Berube, her players Lauren Dillon, Josie Lee, and Michaela North. And Coach, this is your fourth consecutive trip here to the national semifinals, and each one obviously is unique. Each season is unique. Maybe you could give an opening statement on your season this year and how you've gotten to this point and reached the national semifinals.
Yes, we are here for the fourth time in a row, and it doesn't get old. We're very excited and thrilled to be back. I think we've put together a pretty nice season. We've got three tremendous captains sitting up here with me that has brought along a great group. We have 5 freshmen that we had to take under our wing, and just from our opening tournament at Skidmore, where we had a scare, almost lost there. We've just been building and climbing and just trying to get better day in and day out. And we had a couple slip ups with Amherst. Clearly, they're a pretty good team here as well. And but again, it's awesome to be back here. We've had some tough games in this NCAA road, at our house for the first 2 games, and then two great ones against Scranton and Wash U last weekend in St. Louis. So I'm excited to get out on that court. I know my players are, to get going tomorrow night, and we've got a big, a great team ahead of us in St. Thomas, and we know we have to put together a great 40 minutes of Tufts basketball.
You mentioned St. Thomas, Coach. Just talk a little bit about your opponent, what you know about them, and what you expect from them tomorrow.
An undefeated team that has beaten a lot of great teams to get here. I think they have a great All-American center, but they are very balanced. They've got great outside shooting, just smart, strong perimeter players, and they get in the paint well, offensively, making plays for each other and for Langer and inside, but they also defend, and they're tough, and so it's going to be a tough test for us, and we've got to do what we do, and hopefully defend and take them out of what they want to do, and we'll see how it goes. They're undefeated for a reason. They're a tremendous team. We saw St. Thomas in 2012 in the Sweet 16 years ago and lost there. So, they've been just a strong competitive program for a long time, and Coach Sin has done a tremendous job with them.
Lauren, talk a little bit about the quarterfinal, that second half. I watched the whole second half against Washington University. It was a very tight game at halftime, and then seemed like your team found an extra gear, really clamped on defense, and then started finding a way to get the ball in the hoop. Has that been emblematic of your team this year? There seems to be a little extra grit and determination to your squad. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we've actually put a lot of emphasis lately on our really, really good third quarter. It's been what we talk about at halftime. And the past 2 games, I think we've really kind of fulfilled that. And we always start with our focus on defense. So in the beginning of that half, we got stop after stop, which turned into buckets on the other end. So I think if we start off our third quarter well, then we kind of make that lead greater, and that's what's been finishing our games.
Michaela, I know you were here in the semifinals a few years ago when Kelvin hosted for the first time. What's it like to be back in this area, this facility? Is there some advantage just to having a little bit of familiarity with this whole complex and knowing what the rims look like, the backdrop, all that type of thing? Your thoughts?
Yeah. It's a little bit weird. The seniors and I have been talking about it. It's a little bit deja vu going to the Ford Museum again and seeing the gym and just remembering everything from 2 years ago. But yeah, we're hoping that it'll help us since we are familiar with the gym in a sense. And hopefully it'll push us, just remembering that we did lose on this court 2 years ago, to push us to win this time.
Josie, same question for you. I know the loss that you had in the semis a few years ago was a very tight game. You made it to the national championship game last year. I would think there'd be some motivation to play well this game tomorrow night. Just talk about that.
Definitely. Of course, being in the Final Four these past 4 years, it's definitely an accomplishment, but it still feels like there's unfinished business. So I think that's something that's really motivating us tomorrow night, and hopefully will carry over and allow us to get a good win and then play in the national championship. And so I think we're just kind of using our experiences from the past couple years to really motivate us this time.
Josie, I'll ask you one more question. Talk a little bit about playing in your league, the NESCAC, awfully competitive league. One of the other teams in this national semifinals is here. I think there were 3 teams from your conference that made it to the national tournament. And talking to Coach Gramacki, he said there very well could have been 3 other teams, that were certainly skill level NCAA tournament teams. How has that prepared you for this semifinal game tomorrow?
So not only is the NESCAC a very competitive conference with teams like Amherst and Bowdoin who have really pushed us this year and years past, but also another advantage of the NESCAC is that we play 2 games back to back, and I think when it comes down to tournament time, that's really an advantage for us because we're used to our bodies kind of getting beat up on a Friday night and then having to turn it around quickly and play Saturday. So I think along with the competition, we're just used to this back-to-back game setup too.
Question for Coach. How do you keep your team focused on the game right in front of you when you have your conference rival that's in the other national semifinal? I know there's a lot of buzz about a third meeting, but you can't get to a third meeting without taking care of business first. How do you keep that focus with the team?
We haven't said the A word at all. We haven't talked about Amherst whatsoever this whole week. Of course, we know they're here. They're here for a reason, and we'd feel very, very fortunate to play whoever it is on Saturday. Christopher Newport is a tremendous team as well. So they're not. I know my team, and they're not thinking about anything but St. Thomas tomorrow night. With the back-to-back NESCAC weekends, you can't look ahead. You have to look at that game on that Friday night, and then if we do win, then you switch gears pretty quickly. But they're focused. They know what this stage is like and how important it is to not only focus on St. Thomas, but really it's about us and what we're going to bring to the court tomorrow night.
Coach, this being your 4th straight trip to the national semifinals, is there anything specifically unique about this year's team as compared to any of the other teams that have made it thus far?
Every team is unique. Every team is special. Every team has a new group of freshmen that, it makes them different. And every team has a group of senior and, leaders, captains that make it different. And, there's nothing that I can, point to off the top of my head. I love coming to practice every day, and it's a joy to work with them. And but I've kind of felt like that for the last 15 years. So they're fun. They're a great group. We're hungry squirrels. We call ourselves rabid squirrels. Rabid squirrels. So they're hungry for this, and so hopefully we'll bring it and be ready for tomorrow night, and if we get the chance on Saturday.
I'm going to ask the student athletes each the same question here. Lauren, you can start. But I think one of the themes that's pretty common amongst all 4 of the schools here is very successful athletic programs across the board. Obviously, here at Calvin, we met your men's soccer team in the national championship game, but I see Tufts softball and track and field and volleyball and swimming and diving, all sorts of sports that are competing at a very, very high level. How has that helped you in your culture and your athletic department as a student athlete push for high goals? What's it been like for you? Go ahead, Lauren.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you see your men's soccer team win the national championship in the fall, you kind of get a taste of it, and you know what it's like, and you want to get that. And yeah, it's motivation, as well as we all cheer each other on. So when you look up in the stands, you see all these student athletes caring about each other and caring about their program. We all, since everyone is so successful, we all want to go to each other's games and be there for each other. And we're the basketball team, but when it comes down to it, we have Tufts on our jerseys, and that's what we care about.
Same question for you, Josie.
Similar to what LD Lauren said, I think being a part of such a good athletic program, it really inspires teams across the board. Again, like watching the soccer team win 2 national championships while I've been at Tufts, it has really inspired me to be able to get a national championship for myself. And along with that, I think just having a strong athletic community and one that supports you at your games or whatnot is something that's really huge at Tufts and probably across all of the teams here. And I think that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Michaela, same question for you.
Yeah, I mean, just going along with what they have said, we also have a program called brother-sister teams, and so each team is matched up with another team, and they're encouraged to go to each other's games and cheer them on. And I think that really develops even more support throughout the athletic community.
Final question for Coach. Kind of a similar theme, but for you personally, I couldn't help but notice watching the national championship game last year, and it was a very unique situation where you had the national finals of all of the NCAA divisions at the same site. So you being alum of the famous UConn women's basketball program, a lot of your UConn former teammates or people that were associated with the program were there supporting you in the stands. Have you had any personal messages from, the UConn folks that as part of your sisterhood, I guess is the best way to put it, or even from Coach Oriema? I know he's really busy right now too, but I would think that they're awfully proud of you and supporting you this weekend.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that was just amazing last year to have the the Division III national championship at the Division I Final Four, and having their whole team, UConn's whole team, and the staff, which was my staff with Coach and CD there, and then lots of UConn alumni. I mean, we're and their pep band too played for us. So it's just a big family, and they'll always support you. Once you're in the family, you're always in the family. And I've gotten some text messages of support from my UConn family, and I'm sure that they are watching from afar. It's a special, and that's what I want for my team as well, to always have that special family to have when they leave here 25 years from now, that they'll always have that Tufts family.
All right, very good. Thanks for stopping by. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
Thank you.